Mark 11:24 says, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. John 14:13-14 says, whatever you ask in my name, this I will do, that the Father may be glorified in the Son. If you ask me anything in my name, I will do it. Now tell me what God can't do. Now tell me what you can't do. Now tell me what we can't do. You're saying, oh, we have a first goal to raise $200,000. Pastor, I understand now why you want to raise this $200,000. I understand that so that we can have a facility, so that not only can we have a place for these at-risk youth to come, but their entire family to come, so that we can break the cycle. So that way we can change, really change, and make an impact on people's lives. This is not for us to get another call, for us to have, it's strictly for kingdom business work, so that way we can do what God has called us to do, to be a beacon of hope to those who are hopeless, restore hope in homeless, for those who think they ought to have a chance, for those who are going to be another statistic and say, you know what, enemy, you may have got some, but if everyone that I am able to intervene by, if I can just intercept one person, change the course of their life, then it's worth being here. It's worth it. So this no longer scares me, because I have the faith, because I know God can get it done. All it's going to take is those say, you know what, I understand what y'all are trying to do. I understand. I am on board with what you guys are doing. Because number 2, prayer is our weapon. What you pray about reflects what you believe about God. Let that sink in. What you pray about reflects what you believe about God. I pray over my food every day. I pray over my family. Right? What are you praying about that has nothing to do with your immediate situation? What are you praying about that has nothing to do with your immediate situation? Your needs, what's going on in your life. Right? We're talking about praying some powerful prayers that can break the back of the enemy, prayers that can catapult you to levels of greatness. But in order to have those type of prayers, yes, it's important that you pray over your family. It's important that you pray for, I just talked about the importance of prayer. But it's also important to pray about something that's much bigger. We're talking about kingdom prayers. That has nothing to do with your own luxuries that you have around you. But an assignment that's much bigger than you are. So what are you praying about? That has nothing to do with your immediate situation. See, there's always going to be a place for fasting and fervent prayer. That's the reason why we've been praying in 10:15 to 10:30 before these services, and we continue to pray. Kingdom Connection while they're praying. And as we continue to go through this entire series, we'll understand how important the role that everyone's going to play in this process. Because prayer is important, especially when you face those stubborn challenges that seem to refuse to leave us, and problems that seem that they are mocking us. And then we have to get to the place where we're just tired of the enemy wreaking havoc in our life. We got to be tired of just going around that same mountain like over and over and over again. And I preached about this probably a couple years ago about it's time to go northward. Lord, I'm tired of circling this mountain. We know that James 5:16 says the effective fervent prayer of the righteous man availeth much. That's important, the power of prayer. Nehemiah 1:5, it says, then I said, Lord, the God of heaven, the great and awesome God who keeps his covenant of love with those who love him and he keeps his commandments. Verse 6 says, let your ear be attentive and your eyes open to hear the prayers of your servant. Your servant is praying before you day and night for your servants, the people of Israel. I confess the sins we Israelites, including myself and my father's family, have committed against you. So Nehemiah is getting serious about this prayer. He confessed his sins and the sins of the people. What does that mean for you? It means don't let your past discretions determine your future direction. It's first, you know what, you can have a real conversation. I don't have all the answers, Lord. I know I didn't always get it right. But Lord, I know that you called me. There's something that I've seen now and I have to act. But God, let me make sure, God, let me repent of the things that I've done so that I can go forward and move forward in you. It's not to hold it over as a badge of honor. It's not to hold it over your head and say, okay, well, I can only go so far because I've done these things or whatever. It's saying, okay, God, I've done it. I messed up. I made some mistakes. But God, I'm not going to let my past discretions determine my future direction. Who disqualified you? Who said that because you were broke, or you lost that last job, or you never got that degree that you said you were going to get, or you never launched that company that you planned to, or that you've been to jail, or you never taken that leap of faith, or you had a bad relationship, or you have a questionable past, that you cannot be used?
Amen. Amen.
You see, we have to talk to those insecurities, to those doubts, and to those fears. We need to look them in the eyes and say, you know what? Doubts, insecurities, and fears. Let me be great. Look at your neighbor and say, let me be great. We have to tell that stuff to let us go. Like we already talked about forgiveness, but it's something, sometimes you have to forgive yourself from your doubts, your insecurities, saying, you know what, I've long enough, I've allowed you to hold me back because I can't shake what God has called me to do. Let me be great. So I can turn around and do what God has called me to do. Accomplish what He's called for, put on me on this earth for me to do. My special assignment for me. So if you're believing that you're lacking the tools, through this series we'll talk about how to help you put it together. I'm also going to highlight some of those who are already working alongside of what we're trying to do here at Restoring Hope. See, we can't do it for you, but we want to make sure that you have all the tools. And while I was praying for this message, because, you know, I was thinking about all the people who come to me all the time saying, well, Pastor Ray, you should do something about this, and Pastor Ray, you should do something about this, and Pastor Ray, you should do something about this, and all these different things people keep on throwing my direction, and I realized that I'm passionate about what I'm passionate about. You're passionate about what you're passionate about. But I said, you know what? Help me, help you, help others. And that's going to be my focus, right? Help me, help you, help others. And that's what we're going to do because we're all marching towards the same goal. We all understand why we have to be here and the mission that we have in this house. It's very important. So as Nehemiah was praying, he reminded God of his promise. Some good news is that his promises do not change. And through this series, we'll focus on some of the things that Nehemiah did. Nehemiah asked questions. Nehemiah cast vision. We've been doing it. Nehemiah strategized, and we're doing that. Nehemiah delegated, and that's going to happen too. And Nehemiah dealt with opposition because we know opposition is always going to be there. Yeah. But all these things came about because Nehemiah was committed to praying. It's all starting to come together. Nehemiah chapter 1 verse 11 says, Lord, let your ear be attentive to the prayer of this your servant, and to the prayer of your servants who delight in the revering your name. Give your servant success today by granting him favor in the presence of this man. I was a cupbearer to the king. So in his prayer, he's praying about what are the next steps. His prayer can provide favor that your charming personality cannot compete with. Prayer can provide insight that your education and your intellect cannot fathom. Prayer can provide a strategy that you could not come up with on your own. That's why we talk about praying more strategically as a church, understanding where we're trying to go as a ministry. Because what we're embarking on and what we're doing and what we're already actively moving forward to. See, one thing you have to understand that Hope Center is already here because Hope Center is already on the inside of us. Hope Center is not, it may be a physical building, but Hope Center is the work that we're doing out there in the community. Yes. See, the thing is, we don't want to wait to get started once it arrives. We want to already be doing it so that it's a seamless transition. And all this leads me to my next thing when I talk about what we're embarking on is that it's time for us to stand up and act. And that's what Nehemiah is approaching. In this series, we're going to talk about how they strategized, how they prayed, and how they all came together and they worked together to stand up and act. Nehemiah, his tears turned into prayers. His prayer turned into passion. His passion turned into purpose. And that drove him to stand up and act. Nehemiah 2:2 says, so the king asked me, why does your face look so sad when you are not ill? This cannot be nothing but sadness of the heart. He says, I was very much afraid. He was afraid, but guess what? He was afraid, but he did it anyway. Verse 3 says, but I said to the king, may the king live forever. Why should my face not look sad when the city where my ancestors are buried lies in ruins, and its gates have been destroyed by fire? Nehemiah 2:4 says, the king said to me, what is it you want? What is it you want? This right here really convicted me. Because some of us are not ready for the yes that God has for us. you're not ready for the yes. You think you are, but just like we pray in our declaration, God, I'll do what's possible, you do what's impossible. I want to ask you today, where's your possible? Are you ready for your yes? If someone said what you've been believing for and what you've been praying for, right now I have the capabilities to do it, are you going to be ready? The answer is, most times, 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. Oh, let me go back. Let me write it down and let me make it plain. Let me go back and pray. Let me strategize. God say, no, I've already put it on the inside of you because you can't shake it. We pass out journals early in the year. It's the reason why you write this stuff down. What God is telling you to do, because if someone shows up tomorrow and saying, okay, now we're ready to go forward, what are you going to do? That's not the time to get ready. You should already be ready. See, I want to walk around ready for my yes. Because I walk around expecting my yes. I expect things to work out in my favor because I know, God, I can't do this on my own. And that's the thing. You want to get attached to something that's so much bigger than yourself. What is it you want? How specific can you be? See, my faith is the highest it has been because I see what God has and is doing. I see that he makes no mistakes. And he confirms things. And he's setting everything up. But my question to you is, are you ready for that yes? We've been declaring it. God, we'll do what's possible. You do what's impossible. My question to you is, how are you handling up on your end of the deal? Amen. Show me what your possible looks like. Where's your written plan? Where's your financial pledge? Where's your commitment to the goal? See, because a goal without a plan is a wish. A wish. Oh, well, I wish I could do something. God say, no, I put anything on the inside of you. A goal without a plan is a wish. A few weeks ago, I had a meeting. In that meeting, this individual asked me, he said, well, Pastor Ray, what's next? I said, well, this is what I want to do next. He said, okay, done. What's next? And I said, okay, well, this is what else I want to do? He said, okay, done. He said, what's next? And Sean Bay, he was there, he'll tell you. And I hadn't got that far. But I had to gift the gab. So I was there talking and stuttering through. I hope I was there to see where that, see where we're going to happen. This man looked at me and said, you don't have to have the answer. He said, but next time I see you, I want to know what's next. And I realized right then and there, God, I have to get ready because sometimes we limit God. I was already thinking I'm 2 steps ahead. God saying, you're still not far enough ahead because I'm already thinking bigger picture. So I want to challenge you. What does your possible look like? What is it you're planning? Map it out. God's going to have the final say so. I'm not saying that, that you don't leave any room for his thoughts. I'm not saying we don't cover it in prayer, but what he's already instructed you to do. Can you clearly articulate that? Have you thought about your plan? Are you saying, God, just bless me so I can be a blessing? What? Who are you going to bless? Why are you going to bless them? When are you going to bless them? How much are you going to bless them? I'm talking about people setting some realistic goals saying, you know what? I want to, by 2025, I want to donate $1 million into the community so I can help at-risk youth and I can impact the recidivism rate so that kids are not going back to school. Okay, I got you now. I have a plan now. I want to make sure that the 49% of people who are at risk or in high school are at risk of dropping out, that I can make a positive impact to keep them from going in there. I want to empower others to be passionate about what they want to do so they can go forward and they can chase their dreams. What does that look like? I want to build a facility so that way I can have kids come in, they can come and live on site so that they don't have to go back to that dysfunction. I want to offer ESL courses so that that those who are at risk, that not only we teach the kids how to speak English, we teach their family how to speak English so that way they know as well. We want to talk about mental health. We want to help deal with all that stuff. I want to make a positive impact on teen suicide, which is going through the roof. I want to talk about abstinence. I want to talk about family dynamics so that way we don't have an increase in teen pregnancy. I want to have a place, Dr. Lee said we want to have a place for the elderly to come. So they get their blood pressure, they can come out here, hang out, they can play bingo, they can do whatever they want to do because they deserve it. Have a place for them. I want to have a place, a safe place where people can come from the community. I want to do my part. I don't want to look away when we have these school districts saying, okay, Pastor Ray, we want to work with you. So I'm doing my possible. trust me, those can attest, I do my possible. I set up my meetings. We talk about it. We strategize. I ask great questions. I go, I travel, I go and I observe because I say, God, whenever you open this door, whenever you release these funds, God, I will be ready. I'll do my possible, God. All thing I need you to do is go ahead and sign that check, God. I got everything else taken care of from there. Talking about stand up and act. You have to have a plan that's bigger than just you, that reaches those who need them the most. So that's when I think about this goal, this first goal of 200K. I know it can be done, and God will get it done because it's only going to take a few being obedient, a few more believing in it, or maybe just one person who understands that this is the kingdom assignment I need to be attached to. I'm not going to limit how God is going to do it because all I know is that God is going to do it. This is the reason why we've been taking this time these last few weeks, because I want you guys to understand what is it that we're doing and how you can play a part, and that way we can all clearly communicate why our ministry must be here. Nehemiah 2:4 says, "Then I prayed to God in heaven, and I answered the king, if it pleases the king, and if your servant has found favor in your sight, let him send me to the city in Judah, where my ancestors are buried, so that I can rebuild it." So my people are hurting. The walls are down. They are vulnerable. Somebody's got to do something. Somebody's got to do something. And I want to tell you, hi, somebody. That somebody is you. The king asked, "What do you want?" This important thing right here. Nehemiah stopped and said he prayed. Not everything needs an immediate response. I learned this the hard way. It's okay not to know the answers. It's okay to say, you know what, I need help. This is what I want to do. And we're going to make sure that we get the tools necessary so that way when we start talking about these things that you're passionate about, the things that break your heart, how you can make an impact. We'll talk to you about how to do those things. He said that once he stopped, he said he prayed, then he answered. So what are you going to say when you have that audience? Everybody has a part to play. Everybody can do something. If everyone does something, just imagine what that looks like. Imagine what it looks like us all coming together. Everyone's doing their part. I talked about it last week. We can always talk about the things that we have going on here. David Miles, you just stand up for a second. So I look at something like this. So you can be out in the community saying, well, I heard Pastor Ray talk about that there's over 1,100 kids in this area that are homeless. They talk about there's over 29% of those in this area that are economically disadvantaged. We say, well, what does that mean for me? Well, I know that he loves about financial empowerment and giving people the tools necessary so that way they can break the cycle of dysfunction in their life. So someone like you, your ears are open saying, you know what, I don't have all the answers, but I know next time I hear someone talking about what's going on, I can say, you know what, I can help from a financial empowerment perspective, giving them the tools that they need. Miss Nisha, stand up. Miss Nisha, I know she's passionate about those who have been abused, whether it's mental, physical, or verbal. She's all about empowering and enriching and giving people bold leadership. What does that look like? That when the families come in here and they say, I don't know how to put my life back together,